Hello everyone, this is the Crimson Cure, welcoming you to the Crimson Tower, a place where we keep a feminine foot on the neck of the gynocracy, feminism, and black male misandry. So go ahead, pull up a chair, stay a while, and listen.
Hello, how is everyone doing? Hopefully everybody's doing well, and some of you I know are probably getting ready for the holidays and everything. So give people just a few more moments to get in. Hey, Chance. I wish I could distribute my version of a cure in a capsule. I really would do it. I really would do it. I'm not really getting ready for no type of holidays. Hey, see? Oh, really? Oh, okay. Well, welcome. We're going to get started in just a minute or so. I'll just try to let some people get in if, because I want to try not to be too long. Because I used to be the house that you show up to. And then I have the dinner and the spread, but it was always small because it was always just my family, not the extended family. It would just always be my husband and the kids and my dad and stuff like that. But now, none of those things. So it's like I don't have a reason to do all that cooking and do all that. In a way, it's like, I don't have to do it. But the reason why I don't have to do it is like, a bummer. Sort of a bummer. All right, so we might have a small crowd today, and that is okay. People are probably getting themselves together, doing some last minute running around. Hey, Bishop, doing some last minute running around or what have you. So, what are we talking about today? The topic or the title is healing a gynocratic concept? Hey, Father's Time, is healing a gynocratic concept? And what made me think about this is something that another YouTuber said in one of his recent live streams. I'm not going to say any names because that's not important at this time. But he was saying that if you talk a lot, if you're a channel in this YouTube space that speaks about healing, or you kind of talk a lot about, how to heal and that sort of thing, that he looks at you sort of with a side eye, because that the whole healing concept seems to be something that feminists would say, or as we call them, gynocrats, something that a gynocrat would say, and talk about how we need to heal and we need to heal together and that sort of thing. And it got me to thinking about a couple of things. The first thing was the title is healing now a gynocratic concept, when I had never heard of that. And because I had never heard of it, it also made me think about, are we redefining what the gynocracy is in order to expand it to include people or to include concepts that were not included before? So those were sort of my questions on that. So is healing now a gynocratic concept? Obviously, I don't think so, because I am one of two channels in this space, the other channel being Sheep Stay Sleep TV, that actively and sort of always talk about healing. As a matter of fact, that is the tagline of Sheep Stay Sleep's whole channel. We gotta heal before we build. He says that every show. And that's sort of the mantra that is sort of the concept that's over. Oh, I'm sorry, Bishop. Bishop's channel speaks openly and actively about healing also. I'm sorry, beloved. I didn't mean to leave you out. So I'm one of three channels in this space that actively talk about healing as a way, or as one of the first steps to getting your life together, getting yourself together. Okay. And the new concept to me, that it was stated in a live stream, oh, that's like gynocratic. That's something that Rebecca Lynn Pope would say, or that's something that these chicks would say. And, in this space, when we say these chicks, we mean gynocrats. We mean hyenas. That's what we mean. And I took an offense to that because I'm a woman. So I'm like, am I now a gynocrat because I talk about that? But beyond me taking offense to it and taking sort of umbrage to that thought, I was surprised to find how many people that was in the chat room that actually agreed with that sentiment. And I was kind of taken aback. I'm not going to lie. I was taken aback by the fact that there were others that sort of echoed that thought. And I'm like, Now, I've always sort of talked about in a loose fashion that we need to get ourselves together. But my content did not start really focusing on a heal and the pathway to it until a few months ago, maybe 5 or 6 months ago. that was around the time that I got a sponsor as well. And as everyone notices, the direction of the content changed a little bit, as well as other things on my channel, including production value, etc., etc. And so it was interesting to me to sort of come across this idea that talking about this sort of thing in this space was taboo. Talking about healing in this space is, for whatever reason, like a taboo subject. And I fail to understand why it would be a taboo subject. Because we all come to the space understanding and discussing on a daily basis. Some would think ad nauseum. We discuss the things that are broken in ourselves, in our community. The men come together primarily because this is a male-dominated space, come together to talk about the things that have gone on with them, how the gynocracy itself has kind of chewed them up and spit them out, and they came to the space because at first they thought they were alone in what they were going through, and then they realized that they were not, and they were relieved to find that other men could commiserate with them on what they were going through, and sort of be able to have a space to sit down and hash out, what's going on with them, and sort of come to some conclusions and maybe come to some resolutions. And for this to have been that kind of space, I find it highly suspect that the concept of healing should now be associated with the gynocracy rather than associated with this space where we've come together because we were broken in some way, shape, or form. In some fashion, we have suffered some loss, or we've suffered something, some trauma or something as a result of living under a gynocratic / matriarchal type of subculture in the Black community. And so for us to have gone through that, come to a space where these things are being discussed, and it's like, a sense of relief when you get to this space, and when you are able to sort of talk with other people about everything that you're going on. It boggles my mind that healing is not a next logical step, and that it would now be associated with gynocratic channels. I find this to be suspect. I don't think I like that. I don't think that I like that what is happening with that seems to me to be, and maybe I'm exaggerating, maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. Again, could be taking crazy pills every day. Who knows? But it seems to me that there is a slow redefining or recalibrating what is included in the gynocracy in terms of the thought processes and the mindsets that actually go along with being a gynocrat, that actually comes with being in this feminist mindset. Now we've got like a different set of rules. We got another kind of gynocracy I don't know nothing about. why the shun on the concept of healing in this space? When you come here every day to talk about which parts of you are broken or have been broken. Not to mention the fact that nobody that is a part of the gynocracy actually believes in healing, because if they did, they would get out of the gynocracy in order for the healing process to begin. So it's almost an oxymoron, a gynocratic heal. Those two terms don't actually coincide. They don't go together. And I'm just going to be real about why I think the concept of healing is now put into the category of the gynocracy or feminist thinking or whatever. Put a 1 in the chat if you want to know why I think it's being recalibrated to include the concept of healing. Go ahead and put a 1 in the chat. I want a little bit of crowd participation. We don't got a whole lot, but the ones we got, we gonna rock out today. All right. The reason that I think the concept of healing is being lumped in with the concept of the gynocracy is because if the concept of healing and thus getting yourself together is placed in a feminine, that was the other thing. Healing was considered a feminine or female only concept and talking point. The reason why I think that is being placed in that category is to give the excuse not to do it. Because if you tell men that healing is either gynocratic or it is too feminine, they won't engage in it. Especially the men in this space. I'll say that again. If you place the concept of healing as a taboo by associating it with female talking points and gynocratic talking points and channels and things of that nature, then what you do is you excuse the men from being involved in that because they're not going to want to be associated with feminist talking points, the gynocracy, etc. Prodigy said, I'd imagine gynocratic healing consists of a plethora of cliches with a basis of mysticism attached to it, self-love, black love, the church, etc., as opposed to me saying logical things like focus on yourself, grow your mind, body, and finances, etc., all of which are logical and literal healing processes. Now, see, I would actually agree with you, Prodigy. Thank you, Evo Sosa. It sounds like one big gaslight. Healing is a natural process and matriarchy is not natural. So how can this be connected? Exactly. Now, see, I actually agree with you, Prodigy. I agree with you. But see, that wasn't what was said. That wasn't what was said. If it was meant, it was not clarified. It was said as a blanket statement. If you're talking about healing, and because it was a response to Sheep Stay Sleep. And if anyone watches Sheep's channel, we know how he means heal. We know what he means by that. We know what he's saying. We know that what he's saying is not gynocratic in nature, because we know that Sheep is anti-gynocracy. Those of us who watch his channel, we know. Those of us who don't watch the channel shouldn't speak on it. But because I know how Sheep says what he says, because I listen to the content, you could not have gotten out of his content that he was pro-gynocracy. He talks a lot about healing before we build. Like I said, that's the tagline to his channel. We got to heal before we build. So if you know anything about Sheep Stay Sleep's content, you know it's not gynocratic. But yet it was brought up, the concept of, well, I make a side eye to you if you talk about healing, because number one, it's gynocratic, and number two, that's a feminine thing to talk about healing. That's feminine. That's feminine. And you can't tell a bunch of men who are either in their masculinity or searching for their masculinity that something is feminine or female based, because they will avoid it. That's the danger. They will avoid it. And as a content creator in this space, I have a duty to dispel mythical thought patterns and fantastical ideas. And healing being something that, only is feminine, and that's a female talking point. I gotta bust that myth in the head. I gotta bust the head of that. We just gonna peel that back to the white meat. Because there is no way that us as a people, as broken as we are, should be dismissing any practical concept of healing that is presented to us. We just shouldn't be doing it, especially if the process is not vague and nebulous, but concrete and something you can wrap your mind around. So when I talk about healing, I always frame it within the concept of the 10 life values, which is quantitative. Okay? It's quantitative. You literally can make a chart and find out where you are within each of those 10 things to find out just how you're faring in your life and which one of those areas need the most work and attention. So when you come to my channel, you're going to find that I'm talking about healing and like a 10-step program. You start here, you end here, and you kind of go back over it, because life is a cycle, right? Life is a cycle. So there's always improvement in one area, because once you improve yourself in those 10 areas, you have to maintain that improvement. You can't just get to a place and then drop it. You got to maintain it. So when I talk about healing, I am talking about an actual thing that you need to do. When we talk about spiritual value, We're not telling you you got to be Muslim, you got to be Christian, or that you even need to have an organized religion at all. But just that you need to understand, first of all, that the world and the universe is bigger than you. And whatever you consider to be something spiritual to you, you need to get grounded in that, because getting grounded in spiritual values actually helps you to create principles and a code by which to live by. Because if you don't have any principle or code, then you'll be everywhere, anywhere. You'll be all over the place. So the spiritual value is there to ground you. That's the groundwork. That's actually what others in the esoteric world would consider shadow work, because it is work done in the abstract that has a concrete manifestation. Then once you start working and you start getting together your spiritual foundation, whether you already have one or you don't, and you need to find yourself through that, then you start working on your health, if that is something that you need to work on. Physical, mental, spiritual health, emotional health. So it gives you a path. The 10 life values is nothing more than breaking down the 10 most fundamental areas of any person's life. And basically it's breaking down the elephant into consumable chunks, because life can be overwhelming. And sometimes we don't know where to start when we want to get our lives together. Sometimes we don't understand where we need to start. And when we don't understand where we need to start, we begin to become frustrated. And we don't move. A lot of times there are a lot of people who just don't move. They get stuck and they get paralyzed with so many options and choices and so many things to do that they don't know what to do first. The 10 life values gives you the first step. That's all it's doing, is breaking it down in chunks you can consume. So when you don't know how to get your life together, everything seems to be in shambles, in chaos, this or that, the 10 life values gives you number 1. Check your spiritual house. Make sure you have some sort of spiritual discipline, or that you have addressed your inner self. Because many times the manifestation of a lot of chaos in our lives is rooted from the chaos that is inside of us. And to some people, this might sound like some little whoop-de-woo, pie in the sky type of thing, but we know that it's not. And this is not something that is restricted to women. Everybody has a spiritual self that needs to be addressed, and it needs to be taken care of. What do we feed our spiritual selves? What do we feed ourselves? Spiritually. Because all of our physical senses are doorways to our spirit and soul. Did you know that? What you allow your eyes to see, what you listen to, the words that come out of your mouth, the things you do with your hands, all of that, the Arabic term for it is dawat. And a dawat is an invitation. So when we invite people towards Islam, we call that giving dawat. But the word dawat also translates into practicing. So it's invitation and practice at the same time. So you give yourself dawat. What you look at most of the time, you're inviting yourself to that. So if you spend a lot of time looking at, watching, listening to a lot of chaos, a lot of gossip, a lot of backbiting, a lot of negative things, you engage in negative entertainment, things of that nature, you're giving yourself invitation to that. And you will begin to pattern yourself after it. Because this is what you're looking at all the time. This is what you are consuming mentally. You consume it emotionally, and that affects the spirit. So when we talk about spiritual value, we're not just talking about whether or not you have an organized religion or whatever. You need to be able to address your spiritual self. That's what we're talking about. Be mindful of what you do, what you say, where you go, the people you associate with. All of these things have a reciprocal effect. These things are the transmissions of energy. This isn't some type of BS, you know what I'm saying? Whatever. This is serious business, which is why it's number one. And to think that women are the only ones that focus on this type of thing is erroneous. So it goes from spiritual to health to family to appearance to dwelling, and then it moves to something external, which is your mobility, your education, your profession, your leisure, and your wealth. So the 10 life values actually takes care of your internal life and your external life, which is a practical, quantitative, and qualitative way to heal. Because once you start looking at these different areas and facets of your life and really taking them into consideration and not just dealing with them because they're normalized to you, because the dysfunction is normalized, just because dysfunction is normalized does not make it normal. Just because something is normalized does not make it normal. So we live in a dysfunctional culture and subculture. Just because it's normal to us does not make it a normal standard. This is the primary reason why we need to heal. It's automatic, because if you grew up with a gynocratic, you automatically got something going on with you that you need to address, because you were either not given the tools that you needed to be the person you needed to be, or something was taken from you, or whatever. Thank you, Me Masters. Healing is essential for our evolution as Black men and women. Exactly. Thank you, Atif, and thank you, Mogul Maze, for the Cash App. Oh, new, you got you some A game? That's what I'm talking about. So we have a practical way to go about the healing. See, when you come to my channel, and when you go to Sheep's channel, and when you go to Bishop's channel, we are not talking about the yellow brick road. We are not talking about, oh, don't pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. That's not what we're talking about. We are talking about practical things that help you digest and figure out where in your life you need to start. It's not, oh, we just need to love ourselves more, because what does that even mean? See, we don't have an aimless sort of, oh, we don't know, it's just la la land over here and we need to heal and skip through the tulips. No. It's not undefined. There's a structure to this. There's a way you do this. See, when you come over to the Crimson Cure channel, you're going to get steps 1 through 10. Like when you trying to break a narcotics habit, you're going to go to a 12-step program somewhere. See, when you trying to break the Gynocratic habit, you come to the Crimson Cure. I named myself that for a reason, to get the steps, the 10 steps you need to get on the path of healing. See, we're not tiptoeing through the tulips today. We don't tiptoe through the tulips and try to smell the daisies and just be happy. No. Because your life might not be actually happy. But we're going to see, can we get it there? If your family life is in trouble, you might not even know your family life is in the trouble it's in until you start thinking on it. This is what the 10 life values actually does. Gives you a point to think on. You might not have even thought about it. Because it's normal that you come home and have an argument with your woman. And then y'all have a fight. And then you got to try to have makeup sex. And then you mad again that next morning. And then you mad. Like, that's normal to you, but it's not normal. You living in a whole world of dysfunction and don't realize the toll that's taking on your health because you stressed out. You don't realize the toll that it's taking on your spiritual life because you don't turn to a higher power for any type of guidance, or you don't turn to anybody that has a spiritual base so that you can actually get some type of information or some type of way to help. Your family life is bad and you don't realize that it's taking a toll on your money because you be so stressed out that when you go to work, you can't perform the way that you need to because you stressed out and you distracted. You study getting 50 million texts all day from your woman that's arguing with you over a text message, and that's stressing you out. You find your mobility affected because really you need to move to another city to get your money right because there's a job opportunity there or there's a career opportunity there. But at the same time, your family life is messed up because you got a baby mama that put you on child support and it got messed up. Now you can't even leave the state to go do what you want to do what you need to do. So your mobility is affected, your profession is affected, your wealth is affected, all because your family life is messed up. See, we're not talking about no gynocratic. How dare anybody, for as broken as we are, have anything negative to say about a channel that's really talking seriously about what kind of healing you need and how to look at it, to give you a starting point when you didn't have one. You didn't know what to do. You didn't know where to begin in your life to start picking up the pieces so it can make sense to you. How dare you try to link the concept of healing with gynocrats? And really, by extension, you calling me, Sheep, and Bishop gynocrats. Which I take umbrage to. Because I've always supported Black men. And I've always spoken against the gynocracy, whether you didn't like my delivery or not. Whether you liked my delivery, you thought it was too crass, I cursed too much, I was too hood, I was too whatever. Okay, you didn't like the delivery, but can't nobody say that I wasn't speaking against it. Healing is a part of the gynocracy. You get a side eye if you talking about healing on your channel and it's a female talking point. What you getting out of restructuring the gynocracy? What's the point of that? Y'all just don't want to do no work to get yourself together. We ain't even talking about doing work so that Black women can get a benefit out of it. We talking about doing work because the work need to be done for you. Can I just be real for a second? Can I be real rap raw for a second? Can I be real rap raw for a second, y'all? I'm just gonna say it. Can I be real with y'all for a little minute? Y'all want me to be real? You know why it's just 38 people in here? Every time I talk about healing. Y'all know why the number be low? Because see, if I'm talking about something else, the number be high. But anytime I put healing in the title, or I put it in the description, or I mention it, the numbers don't do so well. I'm gonna tell y'all why, and I'm gonna be just real with you. Y'all don't like these 10 life values because it call you out on every part of your life. You done looked at them 10 life values and you don't like them bad boys because every last one of them you done failed in, except for maybe one or two. That's why you don't like when I talk about healing. Thank you, Gold Professor. That's why you don't like that. You don't like them 10 life values. You'll do anything to get away from them 10 life values, won't you? And I'm going to drill you from the top down with all 10 of them. I'm going to keep doing it. You might as well get used to that. It's not going nowhere. I'm not going to stop talking about that. To talk about the stuff you want to talk about these problems without talking about no solutions to them. You don't like none of them 10 life values because it calls you to the carpet. See, it's easy to sit up here and say, well, let's talk about getting this money. No, let's talk about getting your dwelling together. Let's talk about that. Man, we need to talk about, you know what I'm saying, how we gonna get this bag. No, talk about your missing spiritual pieces. Talk about how that's in shambles. Talk about how you don't address them mental issues you got. Talk about how you ain't trying to address red pill rage or the blue pill rage that you going through, which is a spiritual problem. Talk about how you don't want to address that. Talk about how you got 4, 5, 6 baby mamas and then you want to get on here and complain about what they doing to you. But who told you to get 4, 5, 6 baby mamas? And you ain't with none of them. That's why you don't like it. That's why whenever I talk about spiritual value, health value, family value, appearance value, dwelling, mobility, education, profession, leisure, and wealth, that's why you don't like it. You want to hurry up and get to the wealth part. You're wealthy. I told you in my other stream, you've been paid for your work. You wealthy and all that foolishness because that's what you like. Tell me I'm lying. Jump in the comment section and say I'm lying. Man, she talking about them 10 life values again, man. I don't nobody want to hear that. You don't want to hear it because you don't want to do no work. Healing is gynocratic, so you don't got to do it. It's a female talking point, so you ain't got to be held your feet to the fire to talk about it. We ain't here to talk about solutions, so you can give yourself an excuse to rerun the problems over and over and over. You know, I suspect this a lot of you don't want black men to heal. Because they serve you in the broken state that they in. You want black men to stay in the broken state that they in. Because somehow, some way, you benefited. You're benefited by being broken and coming together like the broken pieces. See, us as a people, we've been broke a long time, so it's comfortable. We in a comfortable space right now. We just want to talk about the brokenness. We don't want to fix it. Because if we fix it, what we going to talk about? If the problem get fixed today, what you going to come to YouTube and talk about? We live in a matriarchal subculture that does not address any of them 10 life values with any sort of efficacy. And what they do address, they do so inappropriately. See, as a subculture, we think getting our lives together is focusing on those 5 external things: mobility, education, profession, leisure, and wealth. That's what we think getting our lives together. We completely ignore all of the interpersonal work we need to do. We completely ignore that. We ignore that. Sheep was talking about it yesterday. The who versus the what. See, we want to concentrate on the what and leave the who out of it. But you don't get to do that. You don't get to play that type of game. You can't just focus on the what and leave the who out. You got to work on who. And the first 5 of those 10 life values is who you are. The last 5 is what you are and how that who manifests as a what. Thank you, it's me. See, these are the conversations that need to happen. Healed individuals build strong families. Exactly. But see, it's too many against the family. Let's go ahead, get on into it. It's too many against the family. See, you don't want to heal as individuals because you'll start thinking clearly and you'll start building a community. But half of y'all claim y'all left it. SYSBM, but you study talking about it and you back over here study dipping into the broken pool. You don't want better women. So this is why you don't like me. Because I'm over here talking about the women need to be better. But see, if the women get better today, who you gonna pump and dump? With your broken self. Who you gonna do that to? Y'all don't want to talk about it. I know you don't want to talk about it. Thank you, New. I know you don't want to talk about it. It's all right. You don't like me because I'm over here a whole lioness on Pride Rock. Talking about how the women need to come out of the elephant bone yard and need to come on over into the sunlight and learn how to be a lioness. You don't want that. It's too many of y'all against families and family structures. Because see, if we start producing strong, healed individuals that start producing strong and healed family units, the problem starts going away after a few generations. We start resolving those issues, those long-standing issues, start resolving them. Generation by generation, you resolve them. I know you don't like me. That's all right. Because this don't stop. We got to heal before we build. You like the brokenness because it allows you to express your brokenness. It allows you to be on demon time. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about your spiritual value and how much time you spend on demon time. You don't want to talk about how much time you spend on demon time? You know all about the demon time these chicks is on because you over there in demon time with her. That's how you know she on it. That's how you know what she do when she be on demon time because you over there too. See, you wouldn't know how demon time went if you wasn't over there looking and participating in it and being part of it. So you would know. See, it's easy to pump and dump through a whole community of broken women because they broken. They don't know no better. They gonna let you do it, and they gonna sell it, and all this other stuff. They gonna go. It's gonna be what it is. It's gonna be what we see. What they call the acculturated prostitution. This is what we see. So just go ahead and admit you like the status quo and leave it alone. If you left the community, leave it and leave it alone. If you don't like strags, leave them alone. I double dog dare you to leave a strag alone. Y'all talking about going into other people's countries and cultures and running through their women as if they'll let you do that. You bring all that brokenness and that demon time over to them women. I rarely hear you talk about go somewhere and get a wife so you can build a strong family with her. See, that I ain't got no problem with. I ain't got no problem with that. Whichever woman you choose, from whichever culture you get her from, I don't got no problem with that. But it get real side-eye when you talking about how you gonna go somewhere else and pump and dump. Just run through they women. Make you think they want you running through they women. They know how you Americans is. They heard about you on the internet. It don't matter whether it's true or not. But y'all don't want to talk about it. Y'all don't want to talk about that. Y'all want to keep y'all narratives up. This is why you don't like the 10 life values, because it breaks the narrative. It breaks the narrative. It rips the curtain down so you can see the little man behind it. The little man behind it. That's why you don't like it. That's why you don't like it. Because it don't let you live through the fantasy. It don't let you live your little narrative. It don't let you hide behind your little narratives and your little acronyms to make it seem like you doing better and you doing the thing, you doing it big. When you ain't doing nothing but rehashing and repeating the problems over and over again with no solution. We on to the solution now. What you doing? What you doing? Why you still rehashing 10-year-old problems? Why you still doing that? We're on to the heal off phase. We're on to the solutions phase. We on that part of the conversation. You 10 miles back. You 10 miles behind. Still talking about what these chicks is doing, when you should be concerned about what they doing. Because they either gonna get on the program or get left behind. It's gonna be one of the two anyway. So what you worried about it for? They either gonna get on the good foot or they're going to get left behind. It's as simple as that. Trying to make it more complicated. It's not more complicated than that. It's not complicated at all. But y'all don't like when I start telling y'all about your health value. You don't like that. Running around here talking about what kind of woman you not going to accept and which woman ain't good enough for you. You need to not accept your brokenness. That needs to not be good enough for you. You running around here, a half of a person needs to not be good enough for you. You want to talk about an 8, 9, or 10? Have 8, 9, or 10 of them 10 life values together. Have those. Let that be an 8, 9, or 10. Since we want to talk numbers, since we want to talk about an 8, 9, and a 10, get 8, 9, or 10 of them 10 life values in order. Do that. Do that. You want a woman to be submissive to you, but you ain't submitted to the process of healing and getting yourself together. You ain't submitted to no type of higher power. You ain't submitted to no working practical code or principle. So she gonna submit to what? If you did find her, what you gonna do with her? Break her? Run through her? Pump and dump her? That's what you gonna do? She already broken. I'm trying to deal with the women, but you don't want better women because you don't want to be better. You don't want to be better, and you don't want no better women because you want to excise them demons that you got, but never get rid of them. You pick the demons back up when you get through doing what you're doing. You stay on demon time. You stay on demon time. Listen, I'm going to get on up out of here. How dare you equate healing with the gynocracy? How dare you? How dare you do that? Anyway. We're going to go ahead and cut on up out of here, but time is running out for getting A Game at the 20% discount. So what I need you guys to do is hurry, because it's just for the holidays. Go and click the link in the description box at agameherbal.com. Go ahead and get your 20% discount using the code Kendra20. Give yourself the gift of good health. And for the ladies, give that same gift to the men in your life. This has been the Crimson Cure. Peace out. Hey guys, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. And if you've got more to say on the topic, leave a comment down below. Also, don't forget to support our sponsor who so graciously supports this channel by clicking the description box and the link for A Game at agameherbal.com. You can go ahead and get a 10% discount off of your next purchase using the code Kendra10. This has been yet another Crimson Cure production, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.